Hello. Has anyone noticed that this lectern's actually on wheels? I was quite excited by that. Oh. Would it really upset you if I started wheeling it across the stage, backwards and forwards? That'd be distracting. For those of you who want to do the social media thing, you can get me there. So I'm from Propellernet. We're a search agency. So in very simple terms, this has become the most trusted and most valuable media space in the world, and we help our clients be famous within that media space. I'm here to talk about a little bit more about how we do business. So this is our mission mountain. This is a shorthand that we've created just to help the team understand what we're trying to achieve. We're trying to make life better. At the top is a summit and how we get there. So founded on our 5 core values. There's behaviours there in the next area, which seems to be about jumping into waterfalls and planting cabbages. There's what we do. We've got an agency. We've also got a technology product. We make money. We're a business. And then we enjoy the fruits of that up top. And it's all about becoming, it makes us a bit later into Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's about actualising, self-actualising as well. So here to talk about that. Here also talk about this. So how do we do this? And how do we do this? So we talk a lot about helping our people find their own way up the mountain, find their own route, but providing with the tools, providing them with some of the skills they need to navigate that route. So starting at the beginning, I thought I'd talk about recruitment. Scary face. If you ask me the priorities of the government, I will tell you education, 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 and then warmongering a little bit later on. This is our CEO, big ears. So a few of you have met him. He's quite an outgoing character. He would probably say what's key to our business are values. So he'd probably say values, values, values. The 1970s sweet dispenser I'll come back to in a little bit because that's quite important to the story too. But I suppose our starting point with recruitment is values. When Propellernet was founded by Jack and the other founder, Jim Jensen, 11 years ago now, they had a choice of what to do. I think they had a number of criteria. We have no skills, we have no capital, we have a bedroom, so what are we going to do? And it came down to Aboriginal hair products or a search agency. And luckily for me and the rest of my colleagues, they went with search agency. So values are key. Things change rapidly. MySpace bought by AOL in 2008, was it, for 580 million? Sold 3 years later for 35 million. At one point, MySpace had more visitors in the US than Google. That was in 2008. MySpace, no one really talks about anymore. Things change rapidly, so values becomes incredibly important. Also, behaviours. Values are important, but behaviours, how can we be a stunning colleague? That's how we talk at work a lot. How do we become a stunning colleague? And then really, that's when we get to skills and experiences too. And I did a bit of a straw poll on the floor. I work on with one team, the travel team. These are the degrees that the people in that team have. For those of you that want to see where the marketing bits fit, 3 of them, marketing, you could put comms in there, I suppose, maybe media studies. The 3 most analytical people in that team have got degrees in history, fashion, styling and photography, and English and film. It changes so rapidly. I was mindful that I joined Propellernet in 2010. It's my 5th anniversary just gone. A month after I joined, the iPad was launched. That was 5 years ago. You can see lots of you in the audience sketching on iPads, doodling. You're probably second screen users at home during the television. How many of you properly engage with the television program these days, and how many of you are on this as your second screen? It's massively changed our behaviour. 5 years ago. Oculus Rift launched 3 years ago. Google Glass a year ago and then gone. Things change rapidly, and because of that, we don't get too fixated on looking for skills and experiences. We want analytical people. We want expressive people. We want some amiable people. We want driven people as well, but we're not looking for specific degrees. We do believe that if they've got that mindset and they share the values and the behaviours, they can learn. Who went to the Meaning Conference last year? Okay, Mark Stevenson gave this incredibly eloquent, quick-fire talk. For those of you who haven't seen it, go YouTube, Mark Stevenson, PH, Meaning, 20-minute talk. And he paraphrased a McKinsey report, and he said, actually, technology is accelerating 5 times faster than management. And my take on it is it's training 5 times faster than anything. It's an incredible challenge for education. It's an incredible challenge for businesses as well. But it's not an insurmountable challenge. When we have candidates who come with marketing degrees or who know Twitter, we sort of like quickly discuss the fact that they'll have a certain version, a certain knowledge of Twitter. That version or knowledge of Twitter might be slightly outdated, but that's not a problem. It's the mindset. It's the fact that you're probably going to be navigating somewhere where there is no map. That's fine. As long as you've got the values and the behaviours, you will have the support to get there. So, mountains feature a lot. Just to explain that, by the way, our CEO, we managed to get rid of him. We sent him to the Alps to live, which is very good for all of us. But it does mean we talk a lot in terms of mountains and adventure and exploring, core values to start with. We've mapped out the sort of support we provide for the team in terms of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So this is a draft, it's not a final version, but it was just a sort of sense check. Are we enabling our people to self-actualise? Are we enabling them to achieve their personal and professional ambitions? So we just mapped out, are we providing for their physiological needs? Are we engendering a sort of a sense of love and belonging? What about esteem? How can we help them self-actualise? I just thought I'd bring some of those to life for you. We talk about this, be a stunning colleague, climb our mountain your way. So that vision at the beginning, that's our collective mission mountain. Within that, there are different ways to navigate to the top. Not everyone's going to follow the same path. That is absolutely fine. The key is to be a stunning colleague and to take the support that's given and find your own way to navigate there. So for me, we've been working, we still do have PDPs and salary reviews and those sorts of things. And we are working with an organisation called Then Somehow at the moment. They came in this week and we've been doing some work around contracting ahead of our PDP. So what do we want to look at doing over the next 3 months? And for me, what I thought I'd lost at Propellernet over the past 3 months, I've been doing a lot of pitching, a lot of writing, was a sense of adventure. And for me, it's trying to refine that, focusing on that particular value for the next 3 months. How can I use that in terms of client time? How can I work with clients and get that sense of adventure back? Propellernet time and my own time. And one of the things that came for me was this idea of natural navigation. So in other words, using what's around you to navigate. Now that might seem a little bit wishy-washy. It will actually involve going over to West Sussex to do a natural navigation course, so looking at trees and saying, okay, I think I'm now facing this direction. But it's about promoting observation skills. It's about promoting a sense of independence, and about the fact you can make your own way even if you don't have a map, a compass, or God forbid, GPS. So one of the ways that we do that, we've got Propel Days. So 1 day a month you get a Propel Day. There are 4 flavours of that. There's an Academy Day. Example, I need to know how Photoshop works. That would be an idea of an example of Academy Day. And we each have a budget to go and do those things. One would be a Make a Difference Day. So people want to feel connected to the community. So we give them time that they can go out and do whatever it is that they need to do. For me, that was providing some consultancy to the Rainbow Trust. Some people will want to go and paint a fence. That's fine. It's enabling them to connect with the community in a different way. The Summit Days, that's where you go out to spend time with the CEO and talk about your career, where you want to get to. So one of my colleagues went out last week, came back sunburnt for not wearing sunblock, but climbed a mountain and came sledging down off the back of it. That was, for him, an interesting way of being. And then there are adventures in left field. So I'm going to the Hay Festival this year because that will help me, I believe. It'll expose me to some great thinkers, some great storytellers, some great writers, some great inspirational people. That will inspire me to think in a different way. And then the machine that I showed earlier has been a bit in the press a little bit. It's a dream machine. So every one of us is interviewed by our CEO and MD and gets to put a dream in the machine. And if a significant thing happens, a good thing for the business, we stick 20 pence in. It does need 20 pence. You turn the machine and a ball drops out and you open it up. So one of my colleagues last year biked across Africa. That was for him an inspirational thing. He couldn't ride a bike when the ball came out. A bit of lack of planning there. 2 people, one of the guys wanted to go and spend time with beavers, but then when it was dry, he decided he wanted to go to the World Cup in Rio instead, which was quite a canny move. So there's lots of that stuff going on. At 5 years, you get a 1-month paid sabbatical. So one of my colleagues is going to work in Namibia for a month with a safari company. She will provide free marketing consultancy and learn, and at the same time, we'll get a great experience. And I'm going to California for a month to meet different companies out there and also to take my son on an amazing road trip. A really key thing which I think does need thinking about is if you're going to do whatever you do in terms of learning, sharing, skills, etc., is providing time. So we only resource 70% client time. 10% of the rest of the time goes on probably admin. That means 20% of all our people's time is to learn and share. If you do not provide that time, if you're resourcing to 110, 120, 130% client time, you cannot expect your people to take advantage of opportunities to upskill, to learn and to develop. So that's often forgotten in the industry, but it's absolutely key. So impact for us, 93% of our staff would have said via an external audit that we'd be a great place to work. 95% of our clients would recommend us to someone else. We picked up a number of awards, including Best Agency Awards, but I just thought I'd put the ones that were relevant to culture and learning and sharing. And we've also grown 140% in 4 years. So it works. So I want to start back to the beginning. I'm not too worried about, it's the wrong way to put it. Skills are important. For us, values are incredibly important too, and behaviours. It's that sweet spot in the middle of those three things. And provided you've got an organisation that's willing to put the extra effort in, a bit like you were saying about Kineo and how you were talking about bringing people in who don't necessarily have the skills but could be client ready, that's where the big win comes. We've got a sort of open door policy, which means if any of you want to come and visit and see how we do what we do, very happy to welcome you. And apart from that, there's fruit waiting for you at the back.